and movement that's available to everyone involved that you can just see teams very, very close to each other, which can cause a melting pot, a crucible, if you will, of action when it comes to even moving in towards the 5th circle, sometimes the 4th as well. So we're really looking there. Northeasterly shift on the 1st.
Yeah, northeasterly shift, which is pretty okay for the first game here. Looks like Misfits are going to be occupying their Paradise Resort, as they always go for here. Seen Pittsburgh Knights actually a bit of a 1-3 split as they land in their normal location of Pi, is it? I can never remember. Penarm. I can never remember the names. Penarm there. It looks like they got Juicy as well. But they've sent Wi-Fi all the way down to Bantai, where Wildcard are. Yeah. So we'll have to keep a track of that, see if that is an issue for Wildcard potentially in the future. Here's Delta Stars. They have rebranded. They were known as SK during the semifinals, the group stages here. Now the Delta Stars going to be looking to try and pull out a chicken dinner here on Sanok. But your VN1s currently looting on up here. Have to watch out for HQA, who are close by.
No, everyone should be pretty aware of how close everyone else is to pretty much to these locations. They should be pretty familiar with those rotations, and it's not going to be super. I don't know. It's not going to be super action-packed this early on, especially these teams have been playing against each other, as we said before, for a month or so. Even if it was quite a bit of time ago, they should be familiar with how this is going to stand out. So probably the closest that you see are the people over on the east. Actually, interesting that we see people going over to the docks to the Spits over on the east.
Yeah.
As well as in that central part of the map, you've got around boot camp, you've got about 2 teams very close to each other.
Yeah, Method always land in the center of the map there. Between Boot Camp, Paradise Resort, they're not really landing at the named locations, but that's kind of what Sanok's about. A lot of the other maps in PUBG Mobile, especially Erangel and Miramar, is all about your named locations. That's where the best loot is. But on Sanok, there's just so much loot available all across the map that teams like Method have kind of developed this rotational split that they can do around the center of the map, where they land not quite in the center at a named location like Boot Camp, which is usually heavy contested, but just kind of chill off to the side here. We are seeing HQA and VN1 clash though on the east coast here, and it looks like the first kill going to go the way of VN1 as HQA get caught out behind a burning vehicle.
Yeah, not going to be happy with that one. The nades do come through. They're trying to protect it, and actually they get a knock back in return. They haven't managed to go for the finish just yet. HP Summer trying to push up the hill. The info will be there from the down teammate, so they will know exactly where it is. Interestingly, they're playing with 3 players, most notably VN1.
Yeah, this is actually really dangerous for HP Summer. Kind of rushed up to flush out the kill here, but now potentially caught out next to HQA. Gonna throw some nades over, just try and find some damage if possible, but you can see HQA already rotating to remove himself from that location. It's actually just a smoke nade, so providing cover for his teammates down the hill. And HP Summer's kind of playing point guard up on the top of the hill as he creeps around, snakes around. Right, the rest of HQA are going to push on down towards VN1 and try and rescue their down teammate, try and flush out that knock they already got. Unsuccessful though, they've got the res already, and now VN1 potentially in the premier position here, John.
Shufan not going to be super safe at the moment, but he's managed to crawl his way down to the broken wall. He's going to get finished off. That's not going to be super good for them, but they are now in a 3 versus 3. They've managed to get their teammate up, so we're in even numbers. HQA, they don't want to be sticking around this fight too long. Even just going for this fight, it's not really worth it. You want to extricate yourself. You've got HP Summer as a threat up on the hill. You've got Dongwang as well, who's just trying to hold out, but it's not a fight you want to take this early on.
Oh, absolutely not. This is a situation that these teams are definitely regretting being in at this stage in the tournament. You know, HQA placing 6th in the semifinals, they definitely understood the way that you play the PUBG Mobile Club Open for placement, avoiding fights as much as possible. And now with VN1 here as well, HQA want to make sure that they don't lose out here at all in this position. So we're going to have to see if HQA can regain. Looks like VN1 are trying to rotate up towards the north early. Rather than stay in the fight, they've just basically split all the way down to the west, leaving HQA to kind of just be behind them in the rotation. And that's the smartest move you can make. You know, you've lost a player, at least you traded 1 kill onto the opposing team. Get away from that situation so that you don't put yourself in a detrimental situation for the rest of this game, John.
Yeah, the first circle pretty close to just closing at this stage. No dramatic shifts, of course. You've got quite a bit of time to be playing with Sandhawk. Such a small map, you're going to be okay at the moment. The only team sort of outside it is the G25 over on that western side. G25 Gaming coming over. They are over towards Houghton, so they do have to make that cross, which is going to be interesting. There's a couple of teams in their way. We'll see if they're able to make it. See if anyone has got the idea that they're over there, because of course I'm not too sure on their exact normal drop location. Actually, I'll have to double check that one. But they will have been spotted landing over there, so there might be some teams looking out for them. Oh, okay, an Orm going to be dropped on down as our first care package. That's just to the west of Camp Bravo, right near the Revenants.
I have to see if the Revenants can pick that up, representing the España region here in North America. We'll have to keep a track of them, see if they're able to put themselves in a premier location to really hold their own for North America. Currently, lights out, rotating down to the south from Tatmong. Misfits going to be very happy in Paradise Resort. Misfits are quite a fun team to me, always landing in the hot spots that you would expect, you know, your pub stomping hot spots.
Yeah.
And that's where they usually thrive from, is if they can get the hot spot and then hold a center circle, then Misfits do well. We saw that so often during the group stages and the semifinals, but then in week 2 of the semifinals, they just dropped off the board, not entirely sure where they went. I mean, Trid, who covered the North American region, theorized that maybe they were just hiding strategies or trying new stuff because they had guaranteed themselves a position in the regional finals. And like you mentioned earlier, John, for the teams that were kind of placing to the lower 16, they didn't need to show anything special because they qualified. But now, here in the regional finals, it doesn't matter where you place if you're in the bottom. It's all about the top 3. You have to be showing that you're the best team in North America. And
sure,
a lot of the teams will be fighting for that position. If Misfits was legitimately dropping off the ball, that's a worry. But if they were hiding strats, then Space Station Gaming, Nova, Wildcard, now all of a sudden they have to be worried. Pittsburgh Knights as well, because Misfits are back at top form. We don't know anything yet. It's really difficult to talk about it yet because, you know, the last time we saw Misfits, they were just non-existent.
Well, and this is the thing. Even in the group stages, they had a massive advantage when it came to circles. They were getting shifts time and time again. They were seeing just so much luck on that front as well, which gave them a massive, massive lead. So they were able to streak out very early on, which gave them that boost that they needed to come out top in groups. And then even in the semi-finals on the first day, again, very, very lucky with those circles. They ended up obviously coming relatively low, but it meant that they didn't have to show off any particular rotation strategies, any rotation paths that they'd like to take.
I mean, relatively no,
they didn't have to adapt.
Position. It's relatively high still.
Exactly. It's pretty huge.
Pittsburgh Knights going to be clashing in here, looking for a fight with the Granja del Gaming squad.
Nice one. I like that.
My Spanish pronunciations
Bueno, tío.
The worst. So am I English, as it turns out.
Oh, well, there we go. But it seems like Granja del Gaming will lose one of their players early on. Always going down to the Pittsburgh Knights. They're coming under fire as well. Again, 7 just holding the line for now. They are rotating in. They have already managed to make a little bit of headway towards this circle. It is closing in now, so they do need to be careful. But they have got a little bit of time and another knock. This is really not good for the edge.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh Knights need to hold this position out. It's on the southeast side of the circle. If they can hold this, then they have a really open
Look at that flank.
Forward location. Yeah, it looks like we got flank coming through from Wildcard as well. Third party coming to get involved with this fight potentially in just a moment. That's even worse. Look, it's already started. Rangers getting involved and going to find a knock, but it looks like Illusion's going to get called out by Pittsburgh Knights. Maybe Wildcard weren't aware of the location they were because 2 all of a sudden knocked out here, John. They've just walked into a bit of a battle, and Pittsburgh Knights and Granja have just gone, hold fire. We're going to take out Wildcard and just flush them out of the tournament.
Anyone who steps up is going to get knocked on back. The Pittsburgh Knights, they are going huge right now. At the moment, everyone's trying to extricate themselves. Granja, as you're saying, Wildcards as well. They're all trying to move away from this position. They've just given Pittsburgh Knights a huge advantage when it comes to this early game.
This is not the second place finish that we expect from Wildcard Gaming here, putting themselves in a disastrous location and immediately getting punished by it as they enter into it. Not good, as you would say, John. Looks like VN1 and Revenant are finding each other as well, up towards the center of the map actually here. I'll have to get a camera on them because lots of kills going through. It looks like a fight over the care package. In fact, how many players just lost their lives there? I think it was just 2. You can see the circle closing here, John.
Yeah, we're down to 55 players, but there's still 16 teams alive in total. A couple more are starting to fall. This is the close proximity that we're seeing. This is a really hard shift over to the west now.
And currently, G25 and Blind to Win currently in a bit of a fight here, a brawl. But whoever wins that is going to have circle advantage. Really important fight coming through for G25 and Blinded by Win. We'll have to see if they decide to commit to it or if they fall out here. Ranger currently holding outside in the blue, once again to the circle here, but Pittsburgh Knights, not only do they have a good position on Granja, but they also have the position on wildcard here. 2 teams basically being choked out by Pittsburgh Knights, and if they do not win these fights, it will be disastrous for them.
That's very low. I think there's just 1 player remaining, and that's them gone. That's Granja going down in 16th position.
That's really unfortunate for Granja there. Not the position you wanted to be in. 16th place on Sanok. Maybe you go, okay, it's match 1 of 10, and it's Sanok. It's crazy. We can do better on Erangel. We can do better on Vikendi and Miramar. But if that is the storyline that they're writing for their tournament, then we won't see them heading to Berlin. Looks like Nova now caught out by Effort, who's been holding the center map. 2 knocks instantly coming through from Clay here.
With the shift, Method have found themselves right on the edge of the circle. They're going to be able to edge guard all of those teams on the far side of the circle coming in from that southeast, and that is the majority. A lot of them have had to rotate up north and move around and over towards Tapmok, over towards the north of Paradise Resort, where there is a little bit more safe ground. But teams trying to move in this way, they're just going to come up against the Method wall.
This is huge for Method here. Just barely making it into these regional finals, getting 16th position. Nova putting up huge stops over the semi-finals, finishing in 3rd. Already taking a couple of members out. Looks like Sam is currently just sitting, waiting to be rezzed, but Sam is one of the top fraggers for Nova. They can't afford to lose him this early on. Managed to get 35 kills across the semi-finals, John. A huge performance from him, 2nd top fragger, and looks like the flush is going to come through as PK7 pick up the kill from there. And 7's on a kill streak as well. 3 kills so far already this game. Popping off for the Pittsburgh Knights.
Yeah. Fun fact, Wildcard Gaming are actually the best team on Sandhawk when it comes to the NA region. They average about 30 or 31 points per map. Over 4 maps, it has to be granted, so the sample size is a little bit small. But they are doing very, very well so far, normally. But of course, we saw how they came up against the Pittsburgh Knights, and they lost quite a lot of pressure there. So it'll be interesting to see where they end up coming here.
Yeah, and it looks like Ranger and Rain actually going to run into Cream in just a second here. Could be disastrous for their efforts if they're the top team on Sanok. Well, not only do they have Cream ahead of them, but the Pittsburgh Knights are approaching from behind as well. It could be the wild card team going out very early on Sanok here. Only 2 members left alive, and you can't really imagine a scenario where they manage to fight off Cream as well as the Pittsburgh Knights as this circle closes on them.
Everyone just calming down, finding their location, finding their footing into the next circle. We have got quite a bit of water in this circle. It has to be said that this next shift will really sort of define these rotations. At the moment, G25 over on the west, they've been pretty chilled there. A little bit of a northern shift, so all of this is effective ground. So what we're going to see here, that western side of Paradise Resort, super, super crucial.
Here it is.
That's going to allow them, but the Pittsburgh Knights, they're moving forward into Wildcard. They're looking for the fight already. Wildcard have lost 1 down, but Wi-Fi, it's going a little bit spotty. They're going to trade it back.
Rain's the only man left alive here for Wildcard. And like I mentioned earlier, stuck between a rock and a hard place. The Pittsburgh Knights approaching from one side, Cream on the other side, but looks like Cream may just look to take the rotation whilst this fight is ongoing. Rain, how is he looking to play this? Ranger's pretty much dead. Out in the open, no cover to save them, so Rain has to play for placement here. Cannot afford to get spotted out by Jagger.
I think he did.
Pre-fire coming through from Jagger. Potentially saw the helmet, but Rain's gone for now.
He's out. He's scarpered, mate. He's done one, as they say.
Pittsburgh Knights, they already know that 2 members of Wildcard are dead. Ranger being the 3rd knocked. So they know they have a chance to flush out Wildcard here if they want to, but maybe they'll just look to try and rotate in because the circle's already starting to close here. Of course, The phase 3 and 4 circles are very short. Phase 5 as well in Sanok, and now all the teams having to move into the north. Are You Scared crashing into Space Station Gaming as Nova crash into VN1. Nova Esports going out in 15th position
That's
here on
huge.
Sanok. Disastrous start for the favorites to go to Berlin.
VN1 striking from out in the blue as well. The southern side of this circle going to be super, super condensed. A lot of these teams will be meeting a lot of resistance here, moving in, trying to get their way in. I think there's about 5 or 6 teams actually vying for this southern side, so we're going to see a lot of action here.
Absolutely. You can see Rain trying to approach into the circle here. The last man standing for wildcard. Not going to be doing anything too tricky, just wants to get the placement, get those points on the board for wildcard by just getting into the endgame circles and surviving.
These circles will be very, very interesting because the western side has always just been devoid of rotation. It's been isolated by the river, by the central river that you see running through Sandhawk. So all of these teams have been having to come in from the south, try and move over to the north. And what we're ended up with is a huge cluster of these teams that were on the majority of the island down into the south. I think we're up to 6 teams now, all vying for very, very small amounts of ground here on the south.
Yeah, it's Space Station Gaming and Are You Scared have been involved in a never-ending brawl for this entire circle closing. And now we see Pittsburgh Knights, Delta Stars, and Method all crashing into each other as Cream tries to approach on Are You Scared from the south, and Rain desperately attempts to get into the circle. Looks like Delta Stars have met Pittsburgh Knights as we're speaking here. The Pittsburgh Knights are stuck between so many squads as they try and get into the circle. Not going to be working for them. I love that we have a Rain cam going on here. Get in there, buddy. Get those points for your team.
Method
I'm
as well.
a Rain fan.
Oh, G-Bay holding out in the blue. Is going to strike from it as well. Monarch goes down. Another player for the Pittsburgh Knights going down. That leaves 1 player alive for them.
Disaster.
Method are going to be able to hold just a little bit stronger now. And a huge shift again. It's going to move in. Lights out. Pretty happy with that.
Absolutely. Very happy with that. They landed up at Tatmok and they had it all to themselves. Now Misfits wake up and say, how you doing, VN1? It's going to be Method getting kills onto Pittsburgh Knights and knocking them out. Another team getting knocked out as well. Is that Cream? Just wiped out by Are You Scared? It was. Wildcard loses their member to the blue.
Oh dear.
That is 4 teams dying in short process here, John.
Yeah.
This circle just claiming so many lives.
It's phase 5. It's the phase 5 curse of every single map. Nades flying back and forwards. Space Station Gaming, one of those teams to watch, one of the teams that we've been looking at. Top finishers from the semi-finals. They're on that southern side, that southwestern side of this circle. They're going to have to cross the road ahead of them as this is going to push them on in. G25, they're going to have to leave their compound as well. They're fighting out. They've already managed to get it down, but Lights Out are just spreading out. They've got the only compound in this next circle, and they are holding on to it.
They need to, at this point, as Space Station Gaming Juicy trying to hold it all together, but not able to do so. Are You Scared will wipe them here out in rank 11.
I'd be pretty scared, tell you that. If you run into a squad like that, they're able to wipe it down, but they're still going to have to make the run against quite a few other players. G25, they're suffering heavy casualties and will get eliminated as well, down in 10th. A lot of teams just going so far down. Misfits, over on that eastern side, they're going to start to strike. They've finally had to move out of Paradise Resort. They haven't had to move so far, and they're going to have to make it. Are You Scared? Also eliminated, and everybody going down very, very low. You've got HQA out in the blue. I think they're trying to out-heal at this stage and try and ladder up.
Yeah, VN1, can they hold them off? Misfits trying to find the kills here, and it looks like VN1 will lose their lives. We're down to 6 teams. Lights Out in the center circle. HQA have a single member healing outside in the blue. Misfits now approaching into the circle as Clay tries to hold things together for Method. Delta Stars down to the south, and let's not forget Blinded by Win moving in from the west here. These 6 teams are looking to try and take the circle from Lights Out, who have the compound, have got the luck on their side, but you can see the shots flying through from Lights Out as they just snipe shots from across the circle.
HQA going to go down as well, eliminated in 6th position. Plenty of points now up for grabs. These ladders are so important from this stage. If Method go down, if they lose that last player, this is going to put so many points into the pockets of teams like Misfits Gaming, who really need them.
Clay's still going for fights here. Single member, the only team that doesn't have 4 is Method, and that means they get wiped out in quick fashion there by the Misfits. Misfits now looking to push on into the circle. 4 teams remaining here. Delta Stars, Blue creeping on their behind. Misfits pushing on in. And still Lights Out in this compound, all to themselves at this moment.
Everybody's starting to crunch on down. Lights Out going to be super happy with these circles. They've had so much cover, they should be able to hold on to it. We'll see what they're able to do as they do start to leave their compound just a little bit. They've got a lot of cover to their sides as well, to their flanks, west and east. No one really going to be able to push that one down. 3 teams now remain.
All about the utility here, and you can see that Lights Out have been able to save theirs. That's so huge!
Oh,
How
dear.
many kills was that from Memo? Wipes out an entire team with a single frag. Lights Out now versus Misfits, and Misfits smell blood.
Huge
wanting
kills.
to move through the deficit to get towards Lights Out, but Memo's not done yet. Looking for more from the top of the hill. Can he find any?
8 kills coming in from Misfits, 9 on the side of Lights Out. Both of these teams are going to be in for a very big scoring game, but who's going to jump up and claim that chicken dinner? Who's going to be dining tonight? They're pushing through. The Misfits have to make that rotation as Lights Out have the circle for now.
Lights Out, top of the hill, circle is there. Misfits trying to get the res onto them team, and they are going to get it. Connect through, but they have to push up this hill, and like we said, it's all about utility now. The smokes, the frag needs to get on up into this position because, of course, third person allows these teams from the top of the hill to control so much of the circle.
Not a lot of meds there for Lucifer as well. This is where fighting or not fighting is going to come in super important. If you've been in a lot of fights, you're going to lose out on those meds. You aren't going to have the ability to go for any extended fights, and that blue is going to be even more dangerous. He hops out the window.
So huge, coming through. 2 knocks by Misfits. All of a sudden, they have a real shot at this, John. Here comes the push around the corner. They're looking for the flush, but they need to get more. There's a player to his left. Does he know it? Doesn't look like Pyra has spotted yet. Now they're going to push up the hill. All of a sudden, Misfits showing their fragging ability here, looking to just flush out Lights Out. Is this a single member? Seagut, last man standing. They don't know that he's behind the entire Misfits squad. 1v4, going to be playing to try and survive. In fact, just going to go towards the blue to try and deny the kill. Doesn't matter. Misfits too good, and this is the Misfits we saw dominate the group stages.
That was a very strange ending there, I have to say. It was very, very strongly played from Misfits. They had some great zonal control.